Hey, it's your girl Paula Marie, and I'm with my girl Kimberly Cousins. I think she's going by Kimberly C. I think I heard her say Kimberly C a couple of days ago. What is going on? I'm going to be behind the scenes trying to um, get us together and connected because we just lost connection again. We're having some technical difficulties, y'all, but we're going to get it. We're going to get it together. So I'm going to let
There
Kimberly,
we go.
I'm going to give Kimberly the mic while I
Good
figure out
morning,
how.
everybody. Good morning, good morning, good morning. So, does everyone have pens and paper ready before we start? Because you might want to jot down some of these nuggets that we have for you this morning. I'm gonna go try to go a little slow so that we can leave room at the end for some questions. So, a few Q's and A's after Paula Marie spills her good nuggets, gold nuggets. So, if you have pens
So
and
let's
paper,
get started with. I'm in the background. We keep
okay.
losing Facebook. So I don't know why Facebook is not connecting. YouTube is connecting and
Hmm.
LinkedIn is connecting, but Facebook just do what it want to do, girl. I don't know. It just
Oh
we might
wow.
not be on Facebook today. I might have to drop in that link, that YouTube link. Kimberly, tell the
Okay.
people who you are for all of the new people that are jumping in and watching us live today.
Okay, so I am a ghostwriter and editor. I own the company Right Touch Publications, and I've been basically ghostwriting books for I'll say a little bit over 20 some years. For those who might not know what a ghostwriter is, the same as a ghostwriter who sometimes writes songs for people, but I write books for people. So they ultimately just give me their information, and I take the information and just turn it into a book because they don't always have the time to do it. That's it. So, but yeah,
Yeah, she's so modest, y'all. She's so modest. I'm your girl, Paula Marie, aka Black girls do Pilates too some days, but today I'm coming to you as Ebony Viz Diva. I am a visibility marketing coach. I work with clients on their marketing their products and getting very clear and strategic on finding their audience, which is super important. When you are thinking about that book, one of the biggest downfalls that we've seen and we've had these conversations is that you do not have a dedicated audience yet, but we're going to talk about how to get that dedicated audience, and how to craft your book to your dedicated audience so that you already have people that are already ready, and they don't even know they're ready for you, but they're already ready for you. All righty. So trying to connect into this Facebook. Give me about 2 more seconds, Kimberly. If you can kind of go
okay.
over the layout of today, and I'm going to be on the back end trying to get this Facebook because this Facebook is getting on my nerves.
Okay, so there are a few topics that we're going to go over this morning. So while she's doing it, I'll tell you what the topics are. I'm sure you have those in your workbook. If you have not already downloaded the workbook, go ahead and take time to do that while she's connecting the Facebook page. So we're going to first talk about identifying your why. We'll discuss that. And then we're going to talk about understanding structure, learning about story arcs and chapter structure, things like that. The third topic that we're going to discuss is understanding the importance of an ISBN number. And I'll tell you a little bit more about why that's important as we go along. Fourth, we're going to discuss a little bit about the legal aspects, learning about copyright and intellectual property, things like that. Um, and then Paul Marie's going to jump in there with her expertise, marketing skills, and talk to you a little bit about speaking engagements and using a book to secure speaking gigs, things like that. And then finally, we're going to discuss the importance of the book launch because you want to know what to do with the book after the book is complete. So those are some of the things that we're going to talk about this morning.
Houston, we have landed. Okay. We I don't know why the Facebook is being difficult when it comes to these lives and not trying to connect and it's just a whole thing. But y'all know I'm
Yeah.
gonna figure it out. Now, this is the other thing. Even though things are not always perfect, doesn't mean the show does not go on. The show absolutely definitely goes on, and we about to get it started in these streets today because it's a beautiful Saturday on this summer day. So we want to make
Yes,
sure
it
that
is.
we are getting it as close to the 1 hour for you as we absolutely possibly can. If you have questions, please type those questions in the comments as they come to you. That's super important. Why? Because you're going to forget them. Okay. And I see we got some people logged in. So please let us know in the comments, who are you? Where are you coming from? I'm in the DMV. That's DC, Maryland, and Virginia for those that don't know. Kimberly, where you at?
I'm in North Carolina. I'm in the Carolinas.
North Carolina. Yeah. So we're coming together with our superpower twin wonder powers, and we are going to we're gonna drop the facts. So let's get started on a write, publish, and market that book. Now, the one thing that I want you to realize when we are talking about it is our workshop purpose today. And so we really want you to understand what it takes to write that book. And we also want you to understand what it takes to market that book. And we'll talk a little bit about publication as well. I'm Paula Marie. I'm a serial entrepreneur. I live in these DMV streets, as I just said, but I'm a North Carolina girl. That's the thing that aligns Kimberly and I. Little known fact, or maybe not, because I've been telling it a whole lot. We've been best friends since the third grade.
Woohoo!
But this a little known fact. Kim didn't like me in the third grade.
Oh my God.
I wasn't cool enough for Kim in the
I
third
don't
grade.
remember that.
Yeah, I remember. But listen, this is what it is though. There was a mutual friend, so we'll call mutual friend the room. And because I was in the room with mutual friend, and Kimberly was in the room with the mutual friend, that's when we started to connect.
Maybe because I was a new student.
Bro,
I don't know.
yeah. So it's important to always be in the rooms, okay? It's important to be in the rooms because you never know what those meetings will turn into. Look at us now. Write, publish, market that book.
Yeah.
I am a two-time best-selling author. I always forget this. But yes. So just dropped that book last month. Normalizing Nurturing You, a self-care guide for Black women, on Amazon, on these Amazon streets. So I'll put that link in the description at the end. And then my drug of choice was coffee. I kind of let it go in the month since September. And then child, I've been traveling a lot the last 30 days.
Yes, you
So I'm
have.
doing like a dirty matcha. The dirty matcha is like half coffee, half matcha. So just a little something to give me some energy for you today. I am a reality TV whore. Okay. Like I love reality TV. It's how I decompress. And during COVID, I had a podcast that showcased Black women's superpowers called Black Girls Do. And I've been in the fitness industry for over 15 years. It's actually over 20 right now. Kimberly, tell the people about you.
Well, as I said, I've been writing books for a little over 20 years. I've written several books, but most of them have been for other people. I've written two books for myself, but the other books, which as I stated, are several, have been books that I've written for others. So I've also performed as a worked as a freelance editor. So that means I publishers who have freelanced me actually to edit books for some of their clients and things like that. So now we're getting into more of teaching because we always have people who ask the same question: how do you write a book? And that really It can be answered in one sentence, which is just right, but people don't like that answer. So we decided to just go ahead and break it down into the various steps that it takes to begin, not only begin, but to end the book and market it as well.
Yeah, but it really is right, right? It
Yeah,
really is
yeah,
like, let's just write.
that's just
So
right. Yeah.
listen, I'm gonna be writing my next book with each and every one of you, trying to get this thing together and cracking because I got another book in my soul that needs to be birthed before September. So I'm excited about that. So let's go to the next slide and let's get it top popping. So we're going to be focused on three areas, of course, writing, publishing, and marketing. That is what we focus on. And these are going to be our target areas: identifying your why, understanding the structure, the ISBN, or the ISBN, whatever, however you want to call it. It's going to be that thing. Okay. Legal aspects, speaking engagements, and the book launch. Are you launching your book? Are you just saying, "Hey, I got a book," and that was the launch? You posted, and that was the no judgment. I'm just asking for a friend. Let me know. Let me know in the comments if you have even thought about launching the book and understand it. Well, I'm not gonna get into it. Let me wait. All righty, Kimberly, clarify why you want to write this book.
So it may sound like it's unimportant, but identifying your why is important for a number of significant reasons. And so I just want to talk to you guys about 7 of the reasons why I feel like identifying the why of writing the book is essential. So the first thing is commitment and motivation. So if you know your why, or understand why you want to write the book, it kind of reminds you throughout the process of the motivation behind meeting the goal. For instance, sometimes I know I have to finish the book. I have a certain deadline that I need to complete the book by, but I don't always feel like writing every single day. So if I know my why am I writing this book? Why do I need to get this book out? You just have to kind of remind yourself of those things. So identifying your why serves as a great motivator, especially during the times that you don't feel like writing. Number 2, it helps you to focus. Knowing your why helps you to assign the direction of your book. It impacts the style of writing. So there will be different styles of writing depending on what type of book you're going to be writing. For instance, if I'm writing a nonfiction book, like a biography or something like that, my style of writing is going to be different from someone who's writing fiction, let's say science fiction or something like that. So identifying your why helps you to assign direction for your book and impacts the style of writing. The third reason, and I said there's going to be 7. So the third reason for identifying your why is it helps you to reveal your target audience. For instance, if you're writing to entertain your reader, to educate your reader, persuade, or inspire, that's going to help you to identify your target audience. And of course, identifying your target audience is also going to help you once the book is complete and throughout the process, because it's going to help you with marketing as well, because there's a certain target audience that, of course, we all market to. And that's the other thing that I'm going to come up to talk about in step number 4, which is marketing. It assists with the marketing and promotion efforts. It provides a compelling narrative that you can share with potential readers, publishers, and marketers, making your book more appealing and more relatable. And number 5 is personal fulfillment, of course. And I know that sounds cliche, but knowing why you're writing a specific topic, it is fulfilling and assists you in staying motivated throughout the process. Number 6, overcoming challenges. Writing a book involves numerous challenges. From it can be from writer's block, or you have self-doubt during the writing process. But having a strong sense of purpose can help you overcome those obstacles by reminding you of the importance of writing the book and, essentially why you started it in the first place. Authenticity and voice. You never want your message to sound forced or unauthentic. So knowing your why helps you to relay your message in a way that resonates with your readers. For instance, at the beginning, like I told you guys, I've ghostwritten several books for people, but I never want the book to sound like me. The book has to sound like the author, so the person that I'm writing the book for. So knowing why they're writing the book is always a question that I ask um, clients before I start, and that kind of helps me to grasp the authenticity of their book and their voice, so it doesn't sound like my book, because essentially it isn't my book, it's their book. And so you as the author want to make sure um, you have that same practice, identifying your why, so you can maintain the authenticity of your voice. In essence, before you start, it helps to know where you're going. So now that you have identified your why, and if you have your workbook, you can go ahead and write that down while we're making these descriptions. The next thing you want to do is understand structure, learn about story arcs and chapter structure, okay?
Let me jump in for a second, Kimberly, because I just want to make
Mhm.
sure that people understand that identifying your why is so much bigger than writing the book.
Yeah,
Identifying your why is going to help you to target your audience. It's going
yeah.
to help you to market that book more effectively. It's going to be an easier sell. You don't even have to explain what your book is about and the why it's so important, because you targeted your book and catered it to a specific audience, and you've
Hmm.
also positioned yourself as the expert in that particular thing. Most authors that I come across are very introverted, so this is a little bit challenging for introverts to be able to put themselves out there to claim that they are the expert. And there may be some imposter syndrome along the way as well. Um, who am I to claim that I'm the expert? There's so many
Right.
more people that can do the same thing that I do. Why would anyone listen to me? Right? Those are the things that are keeping you from writing your book. Our goal in Write, Publish, and Market is to get you to get that book out of your soul, right? So that
Right.
you can affect your audience, because there's enough audience for everybody. There's
Right.
enough audience for everybody. I just went to a Lisa Nichols conference a couple of weeks ago, and she spoke about this exact same thing, because when she came on the scene, there was someone else named Ayanla, right? And so she said, nobody wants to see me. Ayala's already there doing the thing, right? Fast forward to today, there's spaces for both. So you've got to understand there's enough space for you. You just have to be able to step in and claim it. And it starts with making sure your target audience, who you're writing that book for, why you're writing that book for them. You've got to really own those things. So inside of your workbook, and if you click at the bottom of the description, you'll see the link, and then there's also the link is up as well. Definitely start to write out what your whys are. And remember,
Right.
I said that in plural, whys. There could be so many different ways that you could go with writing this book. There could be so many different areas that you can target. Let this be a brain dump. Just dump all the whys inside of the workbook. This is where we start to flesh out the things that make sense, the things that are most important, the things that are critical right now, and the things that you can aspire to add later on. What is this, like series, trilogies? I don't know the language they use in the, that's Kim's world, but definitely start to look at that, because that's going to help you to be able to map out your your journey as an author. All right. And even if you've written your book, do the exact same thing. Your next book is in you. Maybe this is a rewrite for you. Maybe your first book wasn't what you wanted it to do. It didn't give what it needed to give. Maybe we need to rewrite that thing.
Right.
Kimberly, can you rewrite a book? Same book?
Of course, you can rewrite a book. People do it all the time. I've actually had clients who have hired me to do a rewrite. Now, I didn't. There were times I didn't write their first book, but as they began to travel and gain more expertise, they wanted to rewrite the book, and so they would hire me to actually rewrite the entire book. You keep your same information, you just revise it and you just add to it. So yeah, of course, it's done all the time.
Yes. And Kimberly doesn't know we're going to be rewriting one of my books this summer. I like working with my people. I like working with my people. All righty, number 2. Let me get out your way.
Okay. So number 2, understand structure. Learn about story arcs and chapter title. I'm sorry, chapter structure. I know some of you may be like, "What in the world is story arc or chapter structure?" And this is just for informational purposes only. This is not for you to get brain fog by getting caught up in all the technicalities. This is just to share information so that you'll know how better to structure your book as you go along. So the story arc basically reveals the path of the story. Where's the story going? And so I kind of jotted down a few tips to integrate the story arcs and chapter structure. So let's first discuss aligning chapters with the story arc. So you want to make sure each chapter adds to the progression of the story or the story arc. In other words, moving the story forward and developing the characters and themes. So that's what you want to make sure as you complete each chapter, you're steadily progressing in the story. So in other words, you don't want to reveal too much in the first couple chapters because the entire book you're just progressing, you're progressing the story along. So the second thing I want to discuss is planning milestones as it relates to the story arcs. Um, Use key points in the story arc, like the climax and the resolution, as milestones to structure your chapters. So that's something that you can jot down in your outline. As you're doing your outline, you can jot down when you're jotting down the actual story and things that you want to make sure that you don't forget to mention in your story. And now we're talking about whether it's fiction or nonfiction. You want to make sure that you jot down um, the essential points, especially if you're in fiction, the climax, and then how you're going to resolve the story. So those are what we call milestones. And then you want to make sure you maintain flow. Chapters should transition smoothly and maintain a logical flow, preserving the narrative's momentum. So, in other words, as you in one chapter, you kind of want to create a cliffhanger. So, if you ever read like a really good book and it was like a really good page turner, it was a reason for that. It's because the author did a good job in maintaining the logical flow and the narrative's momentum in the book. So, by thoughtfully crafting story arcs and chapter structures, writers can create compelling, well paced narratives that captivate readers from start to finish. And so, the next thing I want to talk about is exposition. So, what is that? That's basically the introduction to the story. This is where the reader kind of gets a feel of who are the characters. What are these people all about? Where's the story? Where does this story seem to be going? And what is going to be the conflict that's going to force the protagonist in the story to have to overcome something or to resolve something in the story? So that's where the exposition, that's what I mean by that. And then rising action, that's the tension, the suspension, and or series of events that cause the conflict. Climax. The climax is the peak of action and usually the most exciting part of the story. This is where the main character faces their biggest obstacle. Now, I know when I talk about these points, it sounds like I'm only talking about fiction, but it's also relatable to nonfiction because even if you're writing, let's say you're writing about your own story, you want to make sure you personalize it. Or if you're doing a how-to book, you want to add your personal experiences, the things that you've experienced as you're sharing your expertise. You don't want to just constantly give a step one, step two, step three. You want to give some of your personal experiences. When I wrote the book, No, You're Not Crazy, Get Up and Get Your Happy Back, I not only talked about um, going through hard times and how to pick yourself up from those things, but I shared some of the personal experiences and some of the trauma, things like that that I had gone through to personalize it. And you want to make sure that if you are writing nonfiction, that you do those things too. So the climax is the peak of action, and it's usually the most exciting part of the story. That's why I say that. And falling action. Falling action is the period in the story that comes after the climax. So that's going to lead to the resolve or the resolution. What is the resolution? The resolution is the end of the story. That is where we find out the outcome of all the characters. Okay. And so, why are story arcs so important, even um, during the initial phase of writing? Because you can take those essential points, especially if you're going to do if you're going to do pre-sales and things like that, you can take some of those initial points and begin, you know, creating your reels or creating your commercials or whatever you want to do, or your social media posts, to kind of get your audience aligned with where your book is going to go and the story pertaining to your book before it even comes out. So you're building up excitement. Paul, you want to talk about that? That's your
Listen, I heard reels, and I said, "Wait a minute, that's my time to." I'm like double dutch, like that's my time to jump in. Okay, listen. When it comes to creating any type of marketing, you definitely want to use pieces and parts of your book to do it. You are not going to give away the book. Okay, you
yeah,
got to give pieces of what readers can expect in order for them to literally say, I want more. I need to know more about this character. I want to connect more with this person that this book is about. This book feels like it's about me. There are pieces of the book that I can resonate with. Those are the things that you want your readers to feel like. You want them to be so engrossed in it that it's like reality TV. Because I told you in the beginning, I'm a reality TV whore. So, what does that mean? It just means that sometimes I just look at the insanity and I'm like, I can't believe that, but I need to see what happens at the end. Okay. You want your readers to feel like that. And that could be for any type of book, whether it's educational, fiction, informational, romance, all the different genres of books that are out there. You want them to keep wanting more. You want them to keep wanting more. Now, I told y'all, Kim, she didn't tell you all that she is, but you picking it up by how she dropping this tea. So is she the real deal? Now, I didn't understand 80% of what she said. So, and I don't have to because I work with her. So she gonna make sure I'm good. So stay tuned. If these are things that you're like, oh, I didn't even think about these pieces. I don't even know what these pieces are. You may actually have these pieces in your book and you just don't know it yet
right,
because you just didn't know what they were called. And maybe they may be not in the right spaces. Maybe they can be moved or etched or like judged a little bit more. That's where Kimberly comes into play. So stay tuned. We got something for you that's going to help you to be able to understand all of that terminology that she dropped on us. Because, you know, it's like doctors. When you with doctors and they start talking about parts of the body, or personal trainers, because I'm a personal trainer, I'm a Pilates trainer. I've been a fitness professional for 25 years. And when people start talking technical to the people, to the clients, I just be like, just tell them the leg. They don't need to know it's the femur. They don't need to know it's the quadricep. They don't need to know all that. Alrighty, take it away.
Okay, so now we're after your book is done, so you want to try to decide, do I want to try to get a publishing contract or am I going to self-publish this book? Most people decide in this day and age to self-publish because it's so difficult oftentimes to get that publishing contract. And what site are most people using to self-publish? Of course, Kindle, KDP, Amazon. So we need to understand the importance of an ISBN number, especially if self-publishing. So the ISBN.
She saved my life with this one, y'all. Y'all better listen. She saved my life.
So what does ISBN number stand for? It stands for the International Standard Book Number. So whether we know it or not, when you look at an ISBN number, it will identify the type of book, whether it's hardback, soft copy, the number of pages, who published the book, the author of the book. All a retailer has to do is key in an ISBN number and it gives them all the information. So it's not going to just give them the title of the book. It's going to tell them whether or not it's a hard copy or a soft copy, because you need to know also that you cannot use the same ISBN number for different forms of the book. If you're going to do a hard copy and then you say later, you know what, I think I want a soft copy as well, you can't then take that same ISBN number and use it for the other type of book. So you need a separate ISBN number for each type of book that you intend to publish. And for me, I always suggest that authors purchase their own ISBN numbers, because Amazon will ask you if
Hey,
you would
hey,
rather.
don't tell them that. No, 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 don't tell them that. Just let them know that
What?
Amazon ISBN, ISBN, whatever you want to call it, that Amazon ISBN ain't for you. It ain't for
Yeah,
you. So
yeah,
if you haven't, and I have an Amazon ISBN number, okay, ISB number. I have that, right? For three of my four books.
yeah.
Um, but this last book, because I tapped into my best friend since the third grade, she told me on a Saturday, I was laying in bed and she said, no, 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 you don't want to get that Amazon ISBN number. Now, we're not gonna tell you why yet,
Okay.
but we gonna tell you, but we're not gonna tell you why
Do you want to
yet.
share the website where they can purchase the ISBN number?
That's too much, girl. Let me go to the
Okay.
next slide. Let me go to the
Okay.
next. Let me go to the next slide. Kim thinks she
Okay.
talks
So
to.
now we're going to go to discuss the legal aspects, learning about copyright and intellectual property. Now, let me do a disclaimer. I am not an attorney. I'm not a lawyer. These are simply my opinions. And most of this information you can get, like I got off of copyright.gov. So read
And
upon
we
this.
don't play lawyers on TV, on YouTube, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, or none of these social
Always
media
get your own
streams.
legal counsel, especially if you're going to sign a contract. If you have got a book contract, make sure you get yourself an attorney before you sign anything, because we get excited and we tend to sign things and then we don't understand, because you never know what might be in that contract. It might say, hey, you're going to owe us another book in another 6 months. I mean, you just don't know. I've seen authors who have signed contracts and they didn't know that they were going to owe the publisher another. But you might say that's a good thing, but if you don't read the contract and you don't have a book available, then that could be to your detriment. So just things like that. So I say all that to say before I get into this that, like Paul said, we don't propose to be any type of legal counsel. But so what is intellectual property? Intellectual property refers to creations of the mind that are given legal protection to encourage innovation and creativity. So, in essence, it allows creators or authors, innovators, inventors, whoever's creating any type of intellectual property. It's intellectual property um, kind of encourages creativity, basically. So the copyright provides protection to the intellectual property or the creators of the original works of authorship. It grants exclusive rights to the use and distribution of these works for a specified period. So here are the main aspects of copyright. The work must be original and exhibit some level of creativity. It cannot be a mere copy of existing works. So, in other words, you can't just go on the internet and grab something and, a bunch of information, gather it together and copyright it because those are already existing works. It's not yours. And that's a reason why many um, publishers, we'll talk about this at another time, but many publishers do not allow AI. That's getting into some legal problems right now, but we can discuss that on another date at another time. But I will say, I suggest that you not take all of this TikTok advice and things like that, that's suggesting that you just write your entire book using AI. It's going to get you in trouble eventually. So that's just my suggestion. So next, the work must, you want to say something?
I was just gonna say that AI can definitely be used as a tool to
Yes,
be able to kind of flesh out ideas and thoughts,
right.
but to just copy and paste what we have, what we receive from AI. If you're an author, people are looking for you to be credible in your expertise. So you've got to go in. It's like you go to a clay class and a pottery class and they give you like a lump of clay. AI is going to be that lump of clay. It's up to you to mold that into the structure that you want it to actually become, whether it's a cup or a bowl or a plate or a statue. So definitely use AI as a tool. AI is not new, baby. It's been around forever. We're just
Mhm.
now using it for all the things because it's accessible to us. But people, AI has been around for at least 10 years. We just didn't know about it. That's
Yeah.
it. That's all.
Yeah, and it's good also, like if you have writer's block and you just need to generate some ideas. So I use AI. Like you said, it's okay to use it, but don't fall into the trap of doing the um, copy and paste. So next, as it pertains to copyright, the work must be expressed in a tangible form, such as written text, recorded sound, or digital format. Ideas alone are not protected by copyright unless they are fixed in a tangible medium. And I wanted to point that out because a lot of times we come up with a great idea for a good book. And what do we want to do? We want to share it with everyone. That may not always be the best idea because what if that is like a groundbreaking idea and you haven't written your book yet and you discussing it with friends, family, everybody, and someone decides to put that book in tangible form and get that copy written before you have an opportunity to do so? How are you going to prove that that was your idea? So,
Can I just jump in? Let me
yeah.
jump in real quick. Um, I've seen this happen over and over and over again, especially in the clubhouse days, during that P thing that we went through for a couple years, because we can't say it online. We don't want to get flagged, and we definitely want the algorithm to keep moving this video. But a lot of people were sharing ideas, asking questions, coming up to the stage, saying, "This is what I'm thinking about. Do you think it's a great idea?" Needing the validation that it was a great idea. There's so many other ways that you can validate an idea other than sharing it out loud with the other people. This is also going to be part of your marketing. It's also going to be part of your client attraction. It's also going to be part of your tribe building phase, right? And so as you're writing the book, there needs to be this discovery of client attraction, tribe building, validation of ideas as you are writing this book, before, during, and even after. So sharing your ideas, I know we're excited, but these business besties, like, look, just because y'all in the same field and y'all kiki and laugh about some of the same things, these ain't your business besties, okay? They not. It's a lot of people in the streets that are not, that haven't validated their expertise, but they show up very beautifully. And so you have to protect your intellectual property. You have to protect your ideas. You have to go through, and before you even go through the financial and technical means to copyright, like going to the copyright site, da 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 da. There are things that you need to be doing along the way to validate this idea was yours. Time stamp, date and time, right? That will protect you. So
Yeah.
that's all I'm gonna say. And I'm gonna put this and I'm gonna put this up. I'm gonna put something up because I'm getting a couple questions on the back end, and they're like, "Well, how do we find out the information?" So I'm gonna put this up really quickly, and I did drop it in the comments. So if you go to the comments, there's a link there of how you can work with us to listen. You're not gonna find anybody with Kimberly's expertise in writing and publishing and my expertise in marketing to be able to help you for this, for what we're offering it to you. But we feeling good today. It's our Southern hospitality coming through.
So another question people sometimes ask, well, how long does my copyright last? And guys, you guys can go to, like I said before, you can go to copyright.gov and get this information. So the life of the author plus 70 years. So for works created by individual authors, copyright lasts for the lifetime of the author plus 70 years after their death. So just because you die, that doesn't mean your copyright stops. It's 70 years, even 70 years after that. Now, for works for hire and corporate authorship, so works created under pseudonym, anonymously, or as works for hire, created in the course of employment, for instance, the copyright term is 95 years from the date of first publication, or 120 years from the date of creation, whichever one is shorter. So those are just some things that you might want to know as it pertains to copyright and things like that. And I also want to note some of the things that cannot be copyrighted are titles, names, short phrases, and slogans. Those things, unfortunately, cannot be copyrighted. And like I said, for more information on that, visit copyright.gov for that information.
Yeah. So listen, this free workshop, because I know some of y'all trying to copyright like little slogans that you put on these t-shirts and these mugs and all these things. And just consult your attorney. But understand that everything that you get in these internet streets, you gotta fact check. You
Yeah,
gotta fact check. All
right.
righty.
That's
All
right.
right. So it's my turn. Ted,
Yep.
I'm it. Okay. So So, how do we use the book to secure speaking gigs? Now, you may not even want to be a speaker, but it will just come to you. I just shared with you my latest book that I just published and launched last month. Here's a bigger view of it: Normalize Nurturing You, a self care guide for Black women. And because my tribe is my tribe, because I market to my tribe, because I am attracting on a daily basis who my people are, when people saw that I was launching my book, people started coming to me and saying, hey, maybe you want to come here. So over the last 30 days, I've been invited to three Juneteenth events to not only share my book, but also to speak about healthcare for Black women, right? Health, fitness, nutrition, care in Black women. And for those of you that don't know all the things about me, my degree is in nutrition science. So that's my degree. I've also been asked to attend several events for corporations that have come to. So this is in the last what's the day? The 20, yeah. So in the last 50 days, 40, 50 days, I've been asked these things just because my tribe is so deep and powerful. When they saw I launched my book, they said, oh, yeah, you should come speak. These opportunities are going to come to you organically, but you also will have to reach out and seek those. There's a method to be able to seek out speaking engagements, whether they're local, whether they're at conferences, whether you put together your own event, whether you want to speak at universities and colleges. I am a professor for George Mason University, so that's accessible to me. Understanding what the nuances of what that looks like, because how you reach out to certain people, what you ask for, what you need in order to be able not only to just receive a fee to show up, but also how to speak from the stage, also how to leverage the speech that you give from the stage to be able to generate revenue when you leave the stage. So using your book not only for your why, if you remember in the beginning, we spoke about connecting that book to your why. Your why for your business is going to be how you attract your people. It's going to be like your TED talk per se. If you do those things, speaking engagements will be easy for you. And I'm speaking to my introverts right now because my introverts are probably thinking, oh, that's a lot of work. But I just told you that I got a number of speaking invites as soon as I launched my book, because my book was in alignment with my business and with my why and with my audience that I'm connecting. So leveraging speaking engagements can be huge. So let's just imagine yourself. I want you to go on a journey with me, right? You write your book. You're attracting your audience. You're connecting with your people on multiple social media platforms. LinkedIn is a different type of audience than a Facebook. And Facebook is a different type of audience than a TikTok, right? And they're all a different type of audience than a YouTube. People go to those platforms for different things. Your audience lives in all those spaces. Does it mean you have to be in all those spaces? Absolutely not. It just means that some people will tell you your audience doesn't live on YouTube. Your audience is everywhere. It's just up to you to show up powerfully in the spaces that make sense for you so that you can be consistent, because your audience is waiting for your consistency. Your lack of consistency is what deters them. They will turn away. They will go to the next person who's more consistent. The more consistent you are, the more you attract your tribe. The more you build your like, know, and trust factor, right? Super important. But also, it's going to be how you decide what the needs are for the book that you're writing or the spaces that you need to go in. And you may be in spaces you never dreamed that you would be in. So, speaking engagements is really just a way for you to say, hey, this is my expertise. but at my table get my book. The book is not the big collateral. The book is the low-hanging fruit that a prospective person who hasn't connected with you, that just met you at a conference or at an event, they get to take you home with them. They get to put you on the bookshelf. They get to read you. They get to interact with your communities, because now they're now part of your tribe. It's their way of bringing them in, but it's a way for you to leave and become part of their space as well. So speaking engagements are huge. They will come. I know for the introverts, speaking may not be your thing. And speaking is my thing, okay? I come from the theater. However, there is a rhythm of how to speak and present. There's also a way to lay the foundation of the speech that you're going to say. And your speech can be as small as 2 minutes, because things don't always flow in real time. So you may get to an event and they're like, oh, we're going to give you 20 minutes, 15 minutes. And then they're running behind time and they're like, yeah, you got 7 minutes. And you've got to be able to understand your story that you've crafted behind your why, that your book supports, in a way that you can condense or you can expand. So think about those things, okay? Speaking is definitely a huge thing. And just because you're speaking at an event doesn't mean you can't do other things at an event. I'm going to be speaking next month in Atlanta, and there's going to be some other things that I do that's in alignment with my business that I'm going to do in Atlanta. I'm leveraging the space I'm in. So you may not get to that space again for a long time. So if you're brought there for a specific event and time allows, definitely leverage the space, because your audience is there. And that's when you can leverage the space to be able to connect, right, with your ideal tribe. So don't shake off speaking engagements when it comes to this. There's a way to do it, and I'll definitely show you that how to do it. Going in next, and this is the final thing. This is my favorite thing, the launch, right? Launching your book is such a huge and powerful thing. The reason why is because that's when you get to tell the people over and over again that the book is coming. That's when you get to amp up the excitement that they're going to get the book for you. That's when they get to say, yes, I'm going to support you because I believe in you. I believe in what you stand for. I believe in your why. It is a necessary thing. I need more of that. So amping up, ramping up, celebrating, giving yourself a high five is going to be super powerful. I want to share something with you really quickly. This is a photo of me when I launched my book last month. We're inside of a spa. What I did was I wrapped my whole entire book launch around a weekend event. The weekend event started at this spot right here in National Harbor. So we launched the book. The book launches on Wednesday, but I'm talking about it. Talking about it the whole 30 days prior to, which isn't really enough time. But if you have the right people that are following you, it is. If you're positioned in front of your right people, it is. And so I launched, I had a book launch, official book launch at a winery, Black owned winery, okay, in National Harbor in Maryland. And we had an amazing time. That was Friday, right? Now I pivoted because there were no books. The shipment didn't come. You probably like, what? You probably like, what? You did a book launch and you didn't have no books? Uh-huh, uh-huh, uh-huh. And I sold my books, uh-huh, uh-huh, uh-huh. And I became an Amazon bestseller again. Uh-huh, uh-huh, uh-huh. Yeah, so we had that book launch on Friday, and then I had a special event at a spa. Because remember, my book title is Normalize Nurturing You. a self-care guide for Black women. So how can we have a self-care guide and we don't enforce some self-care? So this is after our Pilates class inside of the spa. The screen behind us actually moves. So it changes scenery. There's waves, there's the sun, there's the beach. It was beautiful. We did our entire book launch for 2 days at 2 different locations in Maryland and Virginia, because remember, we in the DMV, okay? And then on Sunday, we just had our farewell brunch at a local restaurant in DC. So we touched all the boroughs, so to speak, all 3 of the spaces, right? That launch and me advertising National Pilates Day Spa Day advertised my book. Me launching that we're going to be supporting a Black owned business Friday night at National Harbor supported my book. It helped to validate that book a lot more. So I want you to really understand the power in being able to resonate with that, because that's important. That's like super powerful to be able to do those things. And also to be able to say, you know what? I'm going to leverage that book and it's going to be amazing. I'm going to leverage that book and people are going to be talking about it. And everywhere I go now, people are like, do you have the book? Of course I got the book, okay? Of course I got the book. So, the launch is super important and it doesn't have to be personal. You can do a huge virtual launch. We live in a world of virtual based off of the spaces that we were in from 2020 until 2023ish. So we definitely have learned how to figure out how to use and leverage our online presence. But to be able to have a perfect launch, whether it is in person or virtual, you still need to go back to the first thing we spoke about, which is your why. You still got to make sure that you are talking to the right audience, that you're not talking to your cousins and your friends and them. Let me get close, because I don't think y'all understand when I say that you're not talking to your cousins and your friends and them. Okay, because your friends were not put here on this earth to support your businesses all the time. They were here to be your friends. Your family was not put here to support your business. It'd be great if they do, but a lot of people are losing friends and family because they're like, well, you're not supporting my business. So da, 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 da. Remember, they may not be a part of your calling. They may not be your ideal client. I mean, right? They may be here just to love on you and support you and give you a breath away from the madness of your business, to keep you calm, to keep you sane, and to help you remember who you are. Sometimes we push those valuable people away because they don't fit into the business. But remember, you're not the business. The business is you. Oh, that's a whole girl, that's a whole t-shirt. Let me write. What time was that? 59, around 59 minutes. Let me go back and make sure I write that. Let me write that down real quick. All righty. Listen, the book launch is pivotal and it is important. And a lot of us are missing the mark on the book launch because it becomes overwhelming. Whenever you launch anything, there's a system, there's a rhythm, there's a flow. I'm going to walk you through that. And we're going to start on day 1 of walking you through that process when you work with Kimberly and myself. And so when you write that book, you need to know that there's a value inside of your story, that what you have gone through is embedded with lessons. Don't think that your story is small. Your story is small to people who don't need it. Your story is huge to your people that do. And there are thousands, if not millions, of people who need to learn the lessons that you went through, that you cried through, that you bled through, that you grieved through, that you overcame through, that you triumphed through, to be able to get to the other side through. They need those lessons from you. So if you're feeling like your story isn't big enough, I'm here to tell you it is. You just have to be fearless enough to go through that space, right? And so whatever you've gone through is embedded with lessons that will not only heal, but magnify someone's personal journey. We're here to grow people. We're here to build people. We're here to love people. We're here to heal people. The book is still inside you. Whether you haven't written it, or whether you're writing it and you're stuck, or whether you've already written a book, but because of the things you've learned today, you're thinking, OMG, I need to go back and revise my book. And Kimberly just said that is absolutely the thing that you can do. You don't have to start from scratch. You can start from where you are and rewrite that book. Your book is bursting to be released. You think about it all the time. You think about it in the quiet spaces when you're driving your car. You think about writing that book in the spaces when you feel like, oh, I wish I could write my book. Every time someone else says they just published their book, you're thinking, oh, I've been saying I was going to write my book and I still haven't done it. It's important for you to give yourself permission to be able to get that book completed. So, how do we get it completed? Right? Listen, I know that there's some questions inside. So, definitely, I'm going to go through and see if there's any questions that you have inside of the comment section. And then let me see, because I'm doing all the things, right? We need like an engineer, somebody like that. So, we need like an engineer. All righty. So, Kimberly, was there anything that you wanted to add in terms of the imposter syndrome and the how do we get it done and where are we at now and how do we start today in 2024? Is there anything that you want to add to that?
Well, I mean, it goes back to what you said that there is value in your story. So when you're feeling that imposter syndrome, it's your story. So who's the imposter? It's your story. So only you can, no one can tell your story like you can. And ultimately, nobody can market your book like you can. Even if you get a publishing deal from a large publisher, I always tell authors, you still have to put in the work to market that book because nobody knows your story like you know your story.
Absolutely. And so this is rough. Like I just wanted to share what we're actually working with and how we are um putting together this amazing workshop that we are going to be teaching over the last actually it's an annual workshop because writing, publishing and marketing your book never stops. But listen, we start on July the 11th. Look at the pre-writing stage, right? Look at the creative writing process. Look at the actual writing stage. Look at all the things that go into that. There's an assignment where we're working on graphics, and because we got to make sure that the graphics for your book actually speak to your audience, right? The importance of editing and rewriting, because you can't write it one time and think that's it, honey bunches of oats. You got to rewrite it, you got to rewrite it, and you got to rewrite it. There's the business of writing. So we're going to dive deeper into that ISBN. You were asking us, like, what's the difference in creating and getting our own ISBN? What's the difference in self-publishing and traditional publishing? And how do we get traditional publishing deals, right? Then we deal with final copy, walking you through KDP additional needs, because there's some additional things that need to happen with KDP if you want to go that route. Products, getting you ready for Black Friday. And then we have an amazing retreat. We have a huge AI specialty workshop that we're talking to you about because we do want you to be able to leverage all of the things that you have accessible to you, but we also want to make sure that you're doing it responsibly. So that's a little snapshot of the curriculum of what we're going to be working through. And that's the quick, fast curriculum to get you up and running so that your book is completed and ready by Black Friday. Because, baby, It ain't nothing like having a product for Black Friday. Now, I teach a whole Black Friday 12-week course on how to start, how to get that product, that service together, and how to deliver it for that infamous Black Friday, which is the most profitable day in any seller's life. It is the most profitable day on any seller's life. So I want you to look at, and I'm going to scroll actually. Let me scroll the actual link. Oh, we got a comment. Um, so Michelle says, I've always wanted to write my book. I'm trying to scroll on it, Michelle. It won't let me click it. It says, I always wanted to write my story and I've begun. I know the format and audience I'm targeting. Thank you all for your expertise. All right, you're welcome. Listen, we have a coaching program, which is an annual program. You can get through that with the link that's inside of the comments. You can also get to that by just simply going to coaching.writemarketpublish.com. That will take you directly to this page. This is the home page of where we will be working through all the nuts and bolts. Okay. So we're going to talk to you about how to get that book started. And even if you've written, you may need someone to assess the book. Kimberly, that's what you do, right? So if someone wanted you to look over their book, to give it some good, strong nuggets, some notes, some direction, is that one of the things that are being offered inside of this program from you? Because we're each delivering something different.
Yeah, that's correct. So sometimes authors will approach me to just read over their manuscript, and I can tell them what level of edit the book might need, and also some creative nuggets to make the book more interesting as well, to keep the flow
Yeah.
going, things like that.
Yeah. And then
So
the
you would
book
get
doesn't
like
have to
what's
be.
called a it's called a manuscript evaluation. So you would get a whole sheet that just outlines some of the things, some of the strengths and the weaknesses of the manuscript. Yeah, sorry.
See, because I don't know the terminologies and stuff like that. I just be like, girl, can you look over this book? Crying. And she'd be like, send it to me. So my issue was I couldn't get it formatted right. It has to be formatted a certain way as well. And that's something that a lot of authors don't know, especially when they go the self-publishing route. And so because I couldn't get it formatted right, I look, that's her thing. I sent it to her and she got that book together real quick, fast, and in a hurry. So definitely leverage on the additional resources that you have by being a client inside of Write, Publish, and Market. And then the publishing part. Are we doing traditional? Are we doing Amazon? Are we doing both? Can you do both, Kim?
Of course.
You can do
Now I
both.
will say
No,
now.
you won't. You will not say. You will not say.
No, I'm gonna answer your question.
Okay, because you
You
see, she
cannot
like
do
to talk
both
a lot.
on. You cannot do both if you have a traditional. You cannot on the same book. Put it out. That's all I'll say.
Okay. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. Okay. And then how to market that book. We're gonna start marketing July 11th. It's going to be deep dive into where your spaces are, and we're going to start figuring out how do we like go through and rejudge your social media presence so that you're attracting your ideal client and that you are stepping up in spaces that are going to want to secure your book so that your launch is effortless, right? And so it's important. Now listen, did y'all see that? Did y'all see that? I'm gonna leave that right there because we went back and forth on this price to have two coaches. Think about what that looks like, right? My coaching program alone is 10,000 for the year. If I'm feeling generous, I may do a 25 to 35% off of that. But for a year, to be able to work with someone unheard of. Kimberly is a person who's worked with people who have publication houses, publishing houses. She's a ghostwriter. She's been in meetings with literary agents. She knows what you need to know and before you go. It's important for you to understand the things that you don't know. And what a lot of people will say, well, oh, I'm good on that until they're not, right? 297 is your weekly buy-in, 52 weeks for only 297. I'm going to let that sit for right there, right? So what you're going to receive is the process of writing that highlights your main idea. So when you get stuck, we're here to unstick you, right? To learn how to overcome writer's block because it happens to everyone. Sometimes you're uninspired, sometimes you're overwhelmed. If you've been overwhelmed in trying to get this book out, just type overwhelmed in the comment. Don't even add nothing else. Don't put nothing extra on it. Just type overwhelm in the comments. You're going to inquire the steps of what to do with that manuscript after it's completed. And she used manuscript because y'all need to know that Kimberly C is also a playwright. She's a playwright. And that play is fire. What, and
I
I'm
had
I'm a
fun with that
theater
one.
person. I majored in theater. So when it comes to like what things go on on the stage, behind the stage, I'm looking at the set. I'm looking at how people are entering and exiting. I'm looking at their marks. I'm looking at how they're delivering their lines. I'm looking at costuming. I'm looking at all the things because I come from theater. Phenomenal play. Phenomenal play. What's the name of the play again, Kim?
Perfect Lives.
Perfect Lives. Yeah. Liz, I just got to keep her engaged because she'll fade. So I got to keep pulling her out. Learn the different ways to publish that book. We already touched on the what, but now you need to know the how. And the how means you've got to touch it and you've got to walk through it, right? So with me, we're going to work on the branding of your expertise, how to begin with those starter templates. They're already in the portal for you waiting. How to access the 1, 2, 3s of marketing that book to get your focus on, right? And learn the biggest marketing don'ts. I see it every day. I see it every day. People be talking all day about their thing and they ain't telling people nothing about where to go, what to click on, how to follow them, and all of this. This is what you'll learn. Crafting the perfect title, social media don'ts, marketing tips, needs to know for seeking a traditional publisher, ways your book can generate revenue. We talked about one, which is speaking opportunities, but there's so many more. There's so many other ways that you can generate revenue from the book, right? From the book. So I already went through this. This is your total, right? So it is I think I misquoted. It's 3 months quarterly. We start in July, August, September. By the end of September, we're done. Your book will be completed quarterly. Now, if you want additional support, you can sign up for an additional quarter. The additional quarter, we're going to work deeper into Black Friday. We're going to touch on it in the first quarter, but that second quarter is only Black Friday marketing, right? And also, you're going to be tying up those loose ends that you didn't get to get the book out. So Kimberly's going to help you with that. 297 per quarter, or it's 997 for the entire year. 2 coaches getting the book completed so that you can have a completed, workable, physical, tangible product. That's important. That's important. And so you definitely want to make sure that you are clicking. You've got PayPal, you've got your credit card accessible, right? When you click on that. And then also Cash App or Google Pay is accepted. So you've got all the things. You've got all the things. The only thing is, do you want that book? Do you want that book published? Kimberly, do you have anything else that you want to add?
I think that's it. I know some people said that they've already started their book, and they sometimes people just need that creative edge. I enjoy showing people how to make their book more exciting and more engaging. So that's one of the things also that I'm looking forward to helping authors to learn how to do with their books.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you do it in that way, it's just easier. It's easier because now you can go in and you can do those edits with the book. You can do those additions to your book that's going to really like flush your book out and make your book really feel like it's fuller, it's bigger. So we definitely want to make sure that we're giving our book everything that we want to give it in these streets, but also want to make sure that when you are focus on, let me go back to sharing this screen. When you're focused on working with anyone, you just want to make sure that you are working with the right one. So when you're focused on anyone, you just want to make sure you're working with the right one. And so someone was hilariously funny to me because they were like, you know what? I looked up your friend Kimberly. I looked up your friend Kimberly. I said, oh, yeah, you looked her up. Okay? Because she's the truth. She was like, yeah, she's the truth. So, some of the other things that we'll be working on inside of this annual course, because that's important that you understand that, is that, of course, we're going to be talking about how to market your book. We're going to be marketing your book long after the launch, right? We're going to give you the blueprint on that as well. Kimberly just kind of talked about your why, defining your audience, outlining your book. Do you have an outline or are you just writing? How important is the outline, Kimberly?
It's important because it's going to help you to come up with ideas that you didn't may not have immediately thought to put in your book, and it's going to keep you on track as well. Outline is important because it's going to set the basis for the book, but it's also going to keep you on target and on topic for your book.
Absolutely. Research. Do your research. It doesn't take a long time to do research, it just takes dedicated time.
Yeah.
Dedicated time to do your research, ways to overcome writer's block. Did you hear what I said in the beginning when I told you that I've been a fitness professional for 25? Can't even believe it's been 25 years. Crazy, crazy. 25 years. And some of the ways of overcoming the writer's block is to move your body a little bit, right? What you see around you aesthetically, what you smell. I'm a big aromatherapy girl. So there's some tips and tricks on how to overcome writer's block and to make sure that your space is what you need it to be conducive. Your writing discipline. If commitment is a thing that you struggle with, write commitment in the comments. Let's say it one more time for the people in the back. If commitment, going into my North Carolina church voice, if commitment is a thing that you struggle with, let the listeners type in commitment in the comments. All right? Gotta have it. You gotta develop the characters. Maybe you didn't think that the book had characters. Maybe the book is autobiographical and you didn't see yourself as a character. There are different ways that you can flesh and grow that character so that it just leaps off the pages. How to break it down when you're feeling overwhelmed in your project. You're going to need those one-on-one times with Kimberly. You're going to need those Q&A sessions with both of us. You're going to need those um, collaboration sessions, those work sessions where we create dedicated time for you to get it done, because all of that is included. $297 a quarter, $997 for the year, right? The revise and the edit. Because some of y'all writing a book one time and you like, I'm done. No, you're not. Okay. Professional editing. Baby, that manuscript I sent to Kimberly, it didn't come back to me the way I sent it to her. That professional editing is how much does it cost to get your book professionally edited? Let's just say if it were 150 pages, because I know Kim is one of these. It needs to be a word count, needs to be a page count type of girl. That's how technical she is. So just typically, just throw out a number. If I wanted to get a 150-page book edited,
Um, it really does depend on the word count because when you're talking about pages, that can be kind of tricky. So we typically like to go by word count. So we can start anywhere from um,
I told you she technical, y'all.
$25
Didn't I
per,
tell you she was technical? I told you
per,
she was technical.
per thousand words. So that's why editing, but editing is important. I will say that because oftentimes we write like we talk. Even me, I know when I'm talking, I don't use correct grammar. So when I'm writing, I have to go back and do a real intense edit on my own work as well. So editing is definitely not a step that you want to miss, especially if you're going to pitch that to a literary agent or a publisher.
Yeah. So do we have a number, like just a number that you can pull out real quick, just so that they can have some level?
Um, yeah, let me I'm sorry, y'all. I didn't know
Doesn't
I was
have to
supposed
be
to
exact. Just
be.
quick
Yeah, but
math.
I want to be like I want to. So you said about how many pages?
150.
Okay, so you're dealing with so that's gonna be about. So let's just say your book. My God.
Dun, 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 dun.
um, let's just say 325, and you go all the way up to 1500, 1200, 1200,
Okay, that's the
1500.
number I wanted.
Yeah,
1500, 1200 to 1500.
yeah,
You start low, depending on who you get. 350. We the quarterly rate that we offer is even less expensive than the lowest rate to get it edited, right?
yeah.
Yeah, and our annual rate is lower than the highest rate to get it edited. So basically what we telling you, I don't think you heard it, is that this is something that you need to jump into, understand, and get that there are pieces and nuances of getting this book published correctly that are being missed in the self publication area. Because I didn't get my book edited. The first two books were edited. I worked with someone. My very, very first book is a workbook. I didn't get it edited, but when you know, you do. So I know and I'm doing, right?
Mhm.
Writing retreats. Now, let me just tell you this. We have a huge writing retreat coming up at the end of September. This is going to be held here at National Harbor. Details are coming. There's going to be a special discount for all of our members that are joining Write, Publish, and Market That Book. Whether you're quarterly or whether you're annual, you will get a significant discount to be able to attend the retreat. The retreat is a 3-day retreat where we're going to be walking you through the launch. And we are hosting the launch of your book right here in National Harbor, live and in person. It's going to be a huge event. Then day two, we're going to be at my favorite space, because writing requires you to have all your things together. Your chakras have to be in alignment. Your chi has to be well, right? Has to be well. So we are going to be going to a very special space where we'll be walking through your own personal launch outlines. so that you can take this. This is going to be important for those that have completed their book, but it's going to be important for those who haven't even started. Maybe you're joining us a little later. You don't join us in July. You're joining us in August. You may be joining us in September. We're working you through the launch, and we're going to work through that launch phase. So for those of you that will complete your book. How are we launching? And the launch isn't a one and a done. I'm still in launch. Even though the book is out, I'm still in launch. It's called post launch. I'm still in post launch phase. And post launch phase is going to take me all the way to Black Friday. So we're going to get you together so that you're able to really leverage this wonderful piece of collateral that you put together in terms of your book to get you ready for Black Friday. Publishing the book, we're going through that. Mind mapping, I didn't even know what that was, but disorganized ideas, like your ideas are all over the place. How do we put them in order, right? These are some of the things we're going to be going through inside of our right market and right publish and market that book. Research publishers, because you got to find the right publisher, right? And
Right.
the big names are not always the best ones.
That's right.
It's not. How to put together your book proposal. Now, Kimberly and I talked about this in detail because I just wanted to understand what this book proposal was, right? Quickly tell the people what a book proposal is, because I didn't know. I had a lot of questions.
So if you're trying to get a traditional publishing deal, you can't just send a publisher your whole manuscript. You have to come up with what's called a book proposal. That's why you need to hire a literary agent, because nobody's going to accept a manuscript from someone they don't know, but they will accept it from your agent. And your agent is not going to send them the entire book. They're going to send them a book proposal. It's kind of like an outline of the book. It's going to have like maybe the first couple chapters, and then certain things that are required by the publisher. And it has to be formatted within a certain way. So even if you say, hey, can you just do the book proposal for me, and I'll pitch it to the publishers myself, that book proposal still has to be formatted in a certain way for each publisher in order for them to accept it.
So did you hear her say that when she submits the book proposal, she writes it for you? And when I don't know if you picked up what she just put down, when she pitches it for you, there's a lot of extra bonuses that come with being a part of our community. The formatting, I've already discussed that. The publishing timelines, right? We've got to create these and we've got to manage these, right? And then your budgeting. What is your budget for this launch of the book? Because it can become super expensive unless you have the plan. And Kimberly is the plan for the publishing expenses. I am the plan for the marketing expenses. Your author bio. That's that thing on the back of the book. What needs to be on it, what doesn't. Marketing that book, your social media presence, right? Some of y'all have a social media presence that's not in alignment. Let me go back. That's not in alignment with your books. Why? And your ideal clients. That means you're all over the place, right? Your book trailers. What's a book trailer, Sway? Listen, it's part of your marketing. We're going to get those things done before your launch. Your media kit is important. It's super important. How many of you have books right now and don't have a media kit for the book and don't know how to put it together? Book clubs, content marketing, collaborations. Let me tell you now, inside of this community, you're going to find collaborations with other authors whose books are in alignment. Let me get big on this. That whose books are in alignment with your ideal targeted audience and your why. You're going to find it. You're going to come together. You don't have to do this thing by yourself. You don't have to. This thing is bigger than you. How to leverage other people's platforms. It's the OPP factor. How do we leverage other people's platforms? I love it. I love leveraging other people. I like the OPP factor. I like saying the OPP factor. All right. SEO. Whoo, that's a big word. You're in luck. That's my jam. That's what I teach. All righty. Webinars and workshops and book fairs and festivals and library distribution. Oh my, right? Affiliate marketing, how to set that thing up, creating a course. How many of y'all got a course in your soul? Is your book in alignment? Put course. If that's something that you want to work on, you want some symmetry between the book and the course. Brand partnerships. Do you want somebody to pay for your launch? Do you want someone to help offset the cost of your launch? Licensing content, right? And it just goes on and on and on and on and on. So, these are some examples of the curriculum that we're going to be working through within this year. It doesn't stop when the book is completed. It continues. It goes on and it goes on and it goes on. So, Siren says it's a book about what I've been through. Most books are. And she also says that commitment. She typed in commitment. Whoo, that was brave. Typed in commitment. So excited about that. So listen, when it comes to making sure that you are getting this book done in time for Black Friday, launching this book the end of September at our writers retreat here at National Harbor, the only thing that you have to do is go to the link that is posted inside of the comments and that is posted scrolling underneath. Any last words? We start July the 11th. Any last words, Kimberly C? Kimberly C.
That's it. Just go ahead
Yeah.
and make sure you start to develop a strong topic for your book. Even if you don't have the title, make sure you go ahead and begin developing that strong topic and thinking about potential titles for your book. And let's get your journey started. I'm excited.
I'm excited too because the curriculum that we have is that even if you miss, we're starting in July and everybody's like, oh my God, I'm going on vacation. Child, I'm going too. Like the bags is packed downstairs. My flight leaves at 2:30 in the morning. Okay. So I got a little over what I got. I got like 13, 14, 15 hours before my flight leaves. So we do understand that. All of the sessions will be recorded. They live inside of a private portal just for you. You can watch them. Again, we have Q&A sessions and we also have collaboration work sessions that are dedicated to getting it done. We
Mhm.
need to plan time that is your writer's time. And so the writer's time is going to be time for you to do any of the things that maybe you didn't have time to do. And you're going to have access to myself and Kimberly to walk you through that process. We want you to be successful. Your success is important because we're generating revenues. This is part of your legacy building.
Yeah.
This is part of your legacy building. So if you're not building your legacy correctly, what do you have to leave behind? Remember, what's the copyright? The copyright is 70 years after you go,
Yep.
70 years after your expiration.
That's right.
Who you gonna leave it to for 70 years if we don't build this thing up right?
Yep.
So it's important to Kimberly and myself that we deliver this piece to you in a way that's going to get you a finished product, a product that's going to be amazing. Not just a finished product, but an amazing finished product that you're going to
Right.
be able to leverage over and over and over again and to be able to diversify revenue streams while you do it to the point that people know you based off of your why. That's how important your why is. So your first piece of homework is to sign up. The second piece of homework is to download this workbook that's in the description and answer each and every one of those questions. We went through 6 things. We have a list of 200. That's why
Mhm.
they had little numbers on them. You didn't even know like what those numbers were. They were the numbers on the list. Because I was like, how do I keep up with what we teaching so that we can expound on it when we actually get in the class? So yeah, we have a list of 200 items to teach you. There's only 52 weeks in the year. So we're going to fast track you for the months of July and August and September. You should have a completed book in your hand by the second week of September. The second week. The last week of September is our writer's retreat. So we're fast tracking you, but you got it in you. You've got to learn that this is the summer to be able to do all the things that you need to do. You got to be strategic that this is the thing that I need to take care of and complete. You've got to understand that with the assistance of the right coaching, you can get there. And the coaching is inexpensive because we want to make sure that you have access to the other things that you need to support this book being absolutely fabulous.
All right.
So we can't bleed you. We can't bleed you because then you're not going to have the revenue, the means to get your editing done. You're not going to have the means to get someone to review your manuscript. You're not going to have, and let me tell you, the regular rate is not your rate. As a member of Write, Publish, and Marketing that book, your rate is not what the people on the outside rates gonna be. Cause now we in this together. So we need to make sure that we give you access to all the pieces that may be missing. And I know for a fact, I've been in a ton of rooms and I've been in a ton of workshops myself as a participant where I wanted to write my book. Nobody gives you the detail that Kimberly C gives you. I'm going to tell you that right now. I had to stop her from talking. She talked too much. It's a free workshop. But she has this giving, she just wants you to win. We just want you to win.
Yeah.
So listen, right market. I always want to say market first. I don't know why. I think it's because we're marketing in the beginning.
Right.
But
Yeah.
write, publish, and market that book. The link is below. You just have to go to coaching.writepublishmarket.com. Coaching dot. That gets you there. Coaching dot gets you there. Um, that's it. That's all I got for today. That's all I got.
All right.
Any last words for you?
No, let's get started, guys. I'm excited. Let's get those books finished this year.
2024 is the year to get it done. You absolutely have to get it done because you do not want to go into another year and you don't have a book to leverage. You don't have a book to leverage. So it's important that you get it done. It's important that you have this piece that you can say, yeah, this is what I'm leaving behind. And the thing about your book is your trademark is 70 your copyright, I'm sorry, is 70 years after your expiration date, but that book lasts forever. That book is another piece of collateral to your legacy building. That book is where you are saying, look, this is who I am. You're leaving your mark in the world. So you've got to make sure that you're doing that in a way that is responsible to the people that you love. It is important that you get to that point. Because if you don't get to that point, then are you sharing the knowledge that you have to your descendants, the people that come after you? I just want to leave that with you. All righty. There we go. That's the link. That's it, and that's all. I'm your girl, Paula Marie. I'm here with Kimberly C. Look, that rhymes. I'm your girl, Paula
Mm-hmm.
Marie. I'm here with Kimberly C. Child, I just be doing stuff. I just be doing stuff. All righty. Have an amazing day. And don't forget to go to coaching.writepublishmarket.com. Let's get it popping. All righty.
All right.
Peace.
Peace.